Open your hearts, open your senses, and enjoy. And we are going to start with light language blessing. We usually do that in the beginning also to clear the space and to protect the space at the same time. Yeah. And the first sister in the screen is Alison. So you want to go ahead, Alison? Thank you.
As far as an intention, I don't really have an intention.
No,
so
it's the blessing.
It's the blessing? Okay. All right, good, because I don't really have an intention. Okay. Aina tai soto in mara akata shata I mana o soto ituara ati una hata sa tere ene mana ato ikine ete. Isa shatara kana asata ushanati shana o unata I patati ena hata. Kai o esana hata I mono oto I shavana akai sahe ena hata o naka I u esekti ishitu umana ekata I u e sata I nek ino oitoha o eshahe nek isakate ina kotura mana ate I vasha tere eke asa uenaka I oanaha ea kana. Aito o he na e oena te e kire e kena asata mana ato u shana uena kate seve ina kwa shira ata ae na haka une e ti shava ikada oso shata na I sototo tere kani imana I savare kuno utoire ashura ada ate katoto ena hata wata sehe naha tolo rokono shava ati.
Thank you. Yeah, I had to stand up and open the window because of the heat. I started feeling. Oof. Melissa, you're next. Oof.
Thank you. That was beautiful, Alison. Ia no toia kia no to shakai no toia na ta ko shakoi ni tia shokori ni tia kashaka no toia kori na ta. Ia no to kori ni ti shiki no toia na ta ko shamai na to ko shikoi na ta. E amore na to toia rena te te corona to te karina te corona to te karini ti corona to toia. Iana tayo ko shukomi ana ta shukoya no toya de tia tayo ko shukoya iana to koya no to toya rena ta 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 rena ti to toya iana to shukoya no to rena ti shiki ana tayo ko shukori ni ti shikimi ni tia iana taya amoro no to shiki ana toya na tayo ko rena ta shukora e anataya koshono toya nitia no toya kia nataya koshokoya e anotoya anataya koshokore nitia shikia natoya nataya koronata e amore nataya shikia ayonotoya kia nataya shokore nataya koronotoya shikia notoya ameana e aronoto shokoya ameana to shokoya e ano to shoko mai ni ti shikia ane te okosho no to e mi ana ta shokoya e ana ta shoko e ana te koro no to shoko mai ana ta e amare ne te shikio e na ta shoko mai ana ta shokoya. Okay.
Thank you. This energy I feel is so lovely, so mothering energy, so beautiful. Always when these beings come through is wow. Oh, Melba. Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you so much. Thank you, all of you. I've been trying to connect since quite a few weeks before, but it's what it is, and it's the time. And the intention is to download the information from the council. And that's why I'm so happy and so pleased that you're here, and you all are here, as well as Wesley is here, because we need to make a triangle and anchor in the energy that is going to be shown today. So let's see the blessing. Ihasana tana makuyana huashana kana kula yana momoyana tututata sana mayaruana kurayana makata tanayatu sana kata makulaya inua hatata sana kana mayawala dui yanuatatana mahasa tuturana yana katura tatina kurana tatana turana tatina ku Hulayana tata sakumayana karatutana alana kutayanuarana tita tutasa tarata tukana tarata tisana kamawana katatata sana maulaya danahama katuyana tinakunayana tuwash anamamuyana katatitanuayana sanata Tunumahi anualata tutana kumumuiana karana tutata sana kita tuta nima ulaya. Tanika nuarana tuash anamama maya lana kutatai ina anurana katutana karana titanu atasasana kamaya lanua tatasasamukayana. Sasana karana nanaya la tutatana. Ta Namash nakruna tata sanama ula tata sasana kunarana yana tuta ranata kuma minkurana tata sanama muyana ranatu sana sasasana maula atatana inukaranata tanimua nara tunamai aruana tutu una tanashna kuruna tata susama ianu nakitura.
Thank you, Merva. Thank you so much. Beautiful. Very familiar. I'm very familiar with that light language, and also with the tone. That light language comes for some reason from the same beings because they always come with the tones as well. That same light language come through me, and it always come with the tone like you did. It's so interesting. But yeah, there is so much to explore about this, so much to keep experiencing, and every day is really that journey that we've been talking about before. Is it continues, go on, and we discover more and more things. Thank you, Melva. That was wonderful, and it was nice to hear myself through you. The same light language with the tone through someone else is so amazing, so beautiful, and always is to me a confirmation. Of course, it's a confirmation that they are coming through all of us. No, it's not that it's a light language that I connect myself only in my own. Is some other brothers and sisters are connecting to these same light languages as well. It's so beautiful. Luis, how do you feel? Do you feel now or later on? Like doing a blessing?
I can try to do something now.
Okay.
Wanataya. Wanatahaya. Wanatakaya. I think it was more like a Reiki energy I was stepped in.
Yeah, it was my guides were telling me that you were already working in everybody's heart chakra, so that they could get that discernment in how to connect with the higher self, or when someone is connecting to find that feeling on when we are connecting to the higher self. So yeah, it turned into already action. Instead of a blessing, it was just you just came into activating everybody's heart and cleansing everybody's heart, because I could feel. And if you couldn't see it because you had your eyes closed, but if you watch the video, you will see how I am like. I was really feeling the wave in my chest, massive wave.
That's incredible, because like what you said before, like when you have the intention to heal or to pass that energy to someone, you don't actually need to have like all the levels of Reiki. Like if you want to, it's awesome. I bet it's an amazing experience, but your intention and your own healing by yourself emanates.
Exactly. Because
It
you
can
haven't done
really
the courses yet, have you, Luis?
I have done like the first level,
The first
and
level.
I see like yeah, and I see people that do Reiki like on TikTok, for example, and like they are all masters and they do it like so easily, and you know, but I can do it as well, like even if you
You
know,
can,
it's the
brother.
intention
You,
and actually being aligned and clearing, yeah.
exactly. And that, but in order to produce that massive amount of energy in my chest, that cannot be considered that you are in level one, like we say here on Earth. You are in level one, and then you see these discussions between light workers saying, no, you are level two, you are level one, you are not supposed to be doing because you are still in level one. I am a master, so I should be. All that BS, BS that is all around the world. It's time to transcend it, really, because we are already masters. We are already wise healers and wise architects and wise many wise different things. Let's say we have many roles. Some of us we have just the role to be bringing healing, maybe, but many other brothers and sisters, they are here doing so many tasks, so many things. They are doing the healing, they are creating, manifesting architectural dimensions, they are moving geometry, they are doing a lot of things, and also protecting the planet from other beings or attacks. There are so many roles here from so many brothers and sisters, and so to focus only in one piece of paper or in one certificate or in one something like that is sort of obsolete already. And I think these are times already to start accepting that we are these multidimensional beings and that we have many abilities. And this is a proof of that, a direct proof of that. If it's based in what you learn in level 1 in Reiki, you wouldn't be able to do what you just did if everything. Yes, Alison.
I'm like channeling, so I'm getting messages for everybody. But with Luis, this has to come out now. Like, I can't wait. First of all, yeah, I got like healing energy, definitely. The heart connection to the head. Spirit says you've been a healer in the past and in other dimensions and planes. So this is something that your spirit, your higher self already knows how to do. And also, I got a huge wave of like love, just filling up my heart, and you also cleared my solar plexus. So keep doing what you're doing. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I'm like so giddy right now. I feel so good. So thank you.
Thank you.
And my guides are telling me that the blessings that you have done before, they are totally connected also to what Luis did. So it was like let's say like the introduction, let's say like helping Luis to warm up, let's say, no? So your light languages, they were hitting me up, like I really needed to stand up and open the window because I was boiling. Then we received the mothering energy from Melissa, so protective, so cozy, so nice. And then the other beings that I mentioned that Melba and I, we channel, and with the tone, it created the alignment needed. And yes, it was all a super massive collaboration. It was like, it went like that. And that's why Luis was like, hold on a second, I have something I want to do already. And it wasn't even a blessing, it was directly already the activation, the healing. It was clearing, and it was healing, and it was activating. Yeah, everything together. Thank you so much to all of you, really. And this proof again how our souls, without thinking with the mind, they can get into an agreement and collaborate with each other. And it's so interesting that just after that, Alison also brought the messages, no? Like a confirmation of everything that we were saying. So it's all connected, all super connected. Yeah, so next, for a moment I thought that Wesley is the camera is frozen, but no, you were just in a position of yeah. Wesley, whenever you want, go ahead with your blessing.
Thanks very much, everybody. I will say that what I felt is just big grandmother energy. It feels you open up the gates, and yeah, super grateful. So thanks very much, and yeah, we'll just go whatever's going to come through. Bahiyaka uasa niya uasa kia uasa niya tia ko siya nakauata nakia tua bahiyaka saya kuatayat bahiyaka uata kiwa sutai kini ko saya umba ko saya maya ko saya kau saya bayata kuaka Namayo akasu akayawa o akaya naya maya soa kuatia kuata. Kiua tua suata. Niua tua kakuata kuata ua saua yatia. Nia kuaka kuna nui waya tua. Basa iua kana ia na ia kanua mai kia ia yako mai o saia na ia kia mai kia o asa ia na ia ka o asa ua Mawasiya kaniya wakaya to wasa hukanu wayatawa uyaka wasa kuya ta kuwa ya wayatuwa yata kinu wayata maya wata kuta. Thanks very much. Thanks very much. Kanuiyatu wata iya kanuiyata kuasata uyatu yata kuayata. Excuse me for laughing because I was starting to dribble. So thanks very much. Kimi uyatu waka suka.
It's so authentic. That was awesome, Wesley. Thank you so much. Thank you. Hatua naka. Wilma, if you feel like it.
Thank you. I will, and I do. Wisha shekirana tunariete, sohrni arni tiar noir. Churu noir turan royanro. Suronaro naye, shishikanaria turnaye, eritishinrikiera ne, surni akatarni akashutona kiata. Suroando, suroando anaye. No, Sorwani Arkiarano Artierne e Arshiner Kiarano or Naka Arnati Arn Kostara Kanarkete. Sorwe Androe One Kashtakarni Kiarano Torna Sarni Ekatan Untaka Ashtakaneki Toa Nieta Ash and Akatono Ane. Yush atanoe ataka anotok anieti ayana. Androe. Hui narkiera nora. Turunash narkiera nai. Surue androe. Hui tishene kiene. Sihene tiena. Kuishtana kiena te. Sukanarkia. Blessings.
Thank you. So beautiful. Wow. I'm powerful. Anybody else would like to do another light language transmission before I do mine? Stephen, are you feeling the light language coming through you? The microphone.
I'm feeling it, yeah, and it's going around in my head, and it's like participating, but also it's a little bit like, So, so the thing is, the nice thing is, we booked that session. So I thought to myself, maybe we can spend a little bit of time and build my confidence up and be honest about it. Yeah. Therefore, maybe I'd be more free flowing.
Yeah.
But what I'd like to try and add from what I get and listen to is something that I went through also. And I called it the Trinity. It's when I could observe the subconscious, the conscious, and also my soul. And also if I got my breathing right with it as well, while I was in that sort of thing, it kind of opened things up. Yeah. So but he was just playing because nobody taught me. Yeah. And it's observing the different actions or reactions you get and which parts sort of calling in a way.
Yeah. And zero judgment.
But
because from the moment that you create the judgment, you start interfering. You can still have your own opinion when you observe yourself talking the light languages, but when you start doubting or when you start asking too much, when you let's say when you do a lot of mind work, they get interfered. Because what we create an obstacle with the mind really. But that will be dissolving little by little, and with
that's part of the journey to get the flow.
It's part of the journey, like for everybody else.
To gain the knowledge to be able to do.
Yeah.
But it's like you say, you have to purify and also purge. It's a very strange journey, and it's a personal journey, but it's same but different.
Yeah.
Same, but different.
And sometimes it can come even before, so that you can help yourself purging the stuff and healing the stuff that you need to heal, or doing the shadow work that you might need to do. In my case, the light languages came before I finished the whole thing. Why? Because, well, they were there for the people, to spread it everywhere, like here in the group, but also for myself, so that I could remove what it was left in my system.
Just to say, while it's in my head, when Wilma was doing hers, wow, I got really strong visions. You know how I said ancient Polynesians?
I felt it.
Going like that. But also before I saw that, I saw like a tiger or a lion, you know, the face, and he was like, really?
And that's exactly the reason why I came to you to ask you, how do you feel your light languages? Because I felt that when Wilma was channeling hers, you got the strong feeling from.
I got visuals. So, you know, and then I was trying to get my breathing right. But, you know, it's typical, isn't it? Because you get excited and you've got to quell your head down at the same time. And, you know, you think
the child within comes like so excited that sometimes even block.
That's right, because it's doing something it wants to do at long last. We're giving it a bit of a shit time. It knows everything we've gone and done, but we don't get taught how to re-engage. And that's why I really found Ho'oponopono very sort of beneficial. Just learning to say, sorry, I love you, please forgive me, thank you. But be sincere about it. And then she comes out and play, and then you know that by your intuition becoming heightened.
Yeah,
like you say, like you were saying before.
Yeah, it will come, brother. It will come.
No, it's coming.
It's there already. It's super there. And also, if you feel them inside, practice already with them inside. Even if you cannot just yet.
No, what I found also, what it was, is when I was listening to various different ones had different aspects. I was like joining in subconsciously on certain words, or ones kind of around it.
Exactly.
And it's almost like, and almost I started doing my leg almost like in a rhythm, because it's almost like having a conversation with rhythm behind it.
Yes. And this happened to us, and you will see
and it gets accentuated up to show the sincerity, and it's a different kind of vibration or expression, should I say.
Yeah. Often it's a dialogue that we have, like let's say, like telepathic, really, but we are using the light languages, and and we are receiving telepathically the feeling that what they mean. No, it's like if Wilma is talking and the entity that is talking through me, or the light language that I am channeling, start connecting with the one from Wilma. They start having a sort of conversation that when I put the intention in trying to understand what they are doing, telepathically comes the meaning of what they are doing. And sometimes they are just saying basic stuff like how you doing. They are excited to meet, and they are just talking basic stuff that often we think that they might be saying always very wise stuff for us to get awake. Sometimes they meet different beings, they meet each other and they say hello to each other, and that's nice. That's love, and that's joy, and that's beautiful as well. And yes, but in the beginning I was like surprised, that when I started getting these messages that they were actually not saying something that I was expecting with my mind that was going to be very wise or very pure or very something else more complex. And then when I was getting telepathically that they are just cheering up, cheering for the meeting up again, and happy because they met again and they're chatting to each other.
They're tricky as well. They like to tease, like you say.
Yeah, those ones are other ones.
Yes, I know. But
these are the teasers and the triggers and
but it's quite fun. Like
I don't normally deal with those
show you with different shapes. It's quite funny. But it was nice when Wilma was doing it. At first, I got like a very fine sort of TV messed up sort of thing going on. Then all of a sudden, when it was like something else came, then I started seeing those, and it was really, thank you very much indeed, Wilma. But also Wesley's the one that got my foot tapping and everything. And also I get off Melissa as well. I get a very sort of like high frequency.
Yeah.
High and fine.
They are very, very advanced brothers and sisters, as you are, Stephen, as you are. We are just letting that be expressed and removing what is in the way, and that's it. But we are all there, really. We are all there, and that's why we are here. And that's why what we will be doing in the years ahead, if that's what we wish to do, really. But yeah, obviously it's not accidental to be here and to be exchanging this info and massive frequencies.
It's higher self alchemy without us knowing.
It's actually alchemy.
Maybe some vehicle and just play giddy.
I will call it multidimensional alchemy. Yeah, totally. We are merging with each other. That's how I feel, like merging with each other.
It's like quantum clouds coming together rather than in a linear process.
Yeah. And that's what I felt when Wilma started her transmission. I felt your energy getting fused with her energy very, very straight away. And that's why I came back to you to say, let's see if something comes through. Or but yeah, as you say, you can feel them, that they are within and that they want to come out, and they will, because that's the first stages that a lot of people feel like something wants to come out, but for some reason it doesn't. And it's like almost like the body needs some time to adapt to them also. It's not always because you have a blockage or something that you need to clear. Sometimes it's also
no, don't worry.
Adaptation to
I think
them.
It'll come.
Yeah, they will come when they are meant to come. Yeah, because that feeling I got in 2012, the feeling that they were already there, and up until 2019 they didn't come through. So I waited for that long, knowing that they were already inside me. And sometimes it was like like waiting too long. I was really like giving up on them. I was saying, come on, I don't want to feel you anymore. I just want to talk them or don't feel them at all. And then is when I asked the guides why you didn't let me talk them before, and they say it wasn't the divine time. That's it. It wasn't meant to happen then. You had a ministry to bring to earth, and we activated the light languages or your throat chakra when you were meant to bring all those light languages to earth, and that's it. And sometimes there is a certain order so that we can treat other things and other parts of ourselves instead of getting distracted with other things that get activated. So there is a certain order that we also put ourselves. We call it divine order, but that divine order is created also by ourselves so that we can fulfill what we want to do here. So yeah, the mind is the one that feels like a little bit of a rebel, like say, no, I want them now. It's in 2012 because I feel them now, so I want them now. And yeah, it's like the little child wanting the sweet now. Yeah. All right, so let's see what comes through. And let's continue. Hati nakua taisia waka wota isa. Ini ewa naka wata ita tawakai. Sheni akwa neti koa teti. Ishi waka uni akwa. Inikuana. Seneana. Take also this opportunity to take deep breaths and do the grounding exercise. Hu naka wati kiwana. Obviously, if you feel like doing it, many of you don't need it anymore. Kahu ne kiwaka. Sene ono tukuiti nikuatia. But if you are recently exposing yourself to the light languages, it's highly recommended that you do the grounding exercise. Huaka utai ukuatai. Ini okwa nakawatai. Ihioana hina kuatai. Ina kahaona tatawata tiwa. Ane tiwaka taina kuotai. Ishaku honaka ina. Anaunaka hatai akawa. And with these light languages, I feel a powerful connection with Brother Wesley because I know that he talks these same light languages as well. Kahuana, huana, enio kuataikaha, ishakawa, anawataikaha tua, eniwakahai, inioana kaina, wotaikawaka. Ishakuwa ikana, eniwaka na itawaka, shawaka inakunatai, tiana wani wakai, shiniwa nakaunatai, shanakuwa nai, tinakuwa nai nakawa. So you just started watching this video online. The basic grounding exercise that we usually do is to just feel a column of golden light coming from the universe, getting through your crown chakra, filling up all your body with this golden light, and connecting this light through your lower chakra to Mother Earth. Also coming through your feet, yeah, your root chakra, getting this activation and feeling how the golden energy connects to the center of Mother Earth. Also coming through your feet. You have also chakras in your feet. Kawanatiana, let the grounding let the connection, the divine circuitry that you create, connecting the whole universe, your body, and the planet Earth. Tauniaka, Hiniwanaka wanta, Ikawa, Tionoa natai, Hiono kuanata. This will also support the energies that you are about to receive as we go on with the channelings and the codes and the light languages that we are going to be bringing tonight. Kuana watai, Shenio wanaka wata, Enio kune kiwata, Anakawantai nakawa, Hanawanai, Heniwakaina, Nekiwaka wataina kuna, Sawanaki wataina, Onakawaki enita, Anawakai tawonai kawama, Ohuana haita na wantaita wama, Seniwaka hawantai kawantaiwa, Ena wakatai shawana kawa, Enieki wakana, Shana wamanaishi wakana, Seniwaka ihwaka isha, Wukuwaka ikawakana tiana, Hanawaka ishawa, Wonakawatai. So what they did at the end is to draw in all your heart chakras, like what we sometimes call Merkaba, like one triangle facing down, another one facing up, like the one I place in this flyer. In the beginning, I didn't know why that I was guided to put that in the flyer, and now right now I just found out because they were drawing this as I was doing these light languages in all the heart chakras of humanity. Creating that balance with the feminine and masculine energy in our system, takua, and in the way we perceive things, huana kuanta, sini wakan, so we don't get confused with energies that we are not supposed to intake, and that will help us to discern, having this balance of masculine and feminine, that will help us to discern what we are meant to take and what we are meant not to take. Wanakua niya, ishawa nai siwakai, enioana ki nioana tawa. And being also guided. This is totally volunteering. I've been guided to go one by one in the group, asking, how did you started discerning your higher self, or the connection with your higher self? You don't need to give a massive speech. If you feel like saying a couple of things, anything that could or might help other brothers and sisters who are listening to us. And as we are all wise being here, multidimensional and galactic, my guides were telling me, yes, to go one by one, because it's so huge. There are different ways that people have got the activations, and their journey might be different for some to others, and so they guided me to ask to just bring out different experiences and different opinions and different angles of experience that we have had in the process of getting activated. Stephen.
So I've got 3 pictures.
Okay.
And I was struggling with something like you're trying to say to me, or something like was trying to, and I was like, then I got it at the last minute, like, right, yeah, because that's easy. Hold on. So I went to Chisinau in Moldova on a couple of different occasions. Hey, and I find the story gets a bit more interesting now too. And I went in this beautiful park that had like artists there and touristy things, and I bought this painting that sort of just like resonated with me. And I liked it so much that when I returned to Moldova a year or 18 months later, I went searching and I got disappointed. The stand wasn't in the right place, but I hunted around and I found the same one or similar. So I've reorganized it actually, because like you say, it's different for different folk. So it's kind of we see the light.
I'm gonna make your screen bigger. 1 second. Add pin and then remove pin here. And then, yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
like,
so amazing.
and because I've moved around, it's a bit like me. It represents me. I've been a bit battered and bruised, but I'm still here and I'm still in the line. And then sometimes I don't know whether it's that one first or whether it's this one, because this one tells a big story, because you're like on the tightrope and the light from the dark side shining, the light from the good side shining, and you're trying to tiptoe through the tulips and get to the other side, because you realize that, you know, it's the light that you want. And
Yep.
I feel that when you can achieve that, then this is what happens. You end up swimming in a sea of love.
It's perfect. It's perfect how the sequence follows the how you go from the first one trying to connect,
I can
and
even,
then you get to that level when you are still in that thing string, not knowing what side you are really, and then how you transcend that and you start flying, really flying.
yeah, you're flying with Ra in the sun.
They are connected. They are super connected.
Creating light in the Merkaba.
I didn't see that the other day when you show them to me. I didn't see the sequence, that they are actually a sequence, but they are. They
Yeah,
told
I
me
didn't
now that
realize,
it's a
but my
sequence.
brain realized and wanted me to go back to remind me, you know. So, but this also, I've just realized this blends into a quick story. So there was something not good going on with a child that they won't release from hospital to try and get surgery in the UK around about 3 or 4 years ago. And it distraught me, you know. As a father, I didn't think it was right. And we'd been to Parliament, and it's the last time we'd heard it. And I didn't know what to do. And I was pacing around for an hour, and I had bad writing. So I just put on a sign, please pray for baby Alfie. And I went out and stood in the rush hour traffic and just smiled. And then it was a really shit day and dark clouds and everything. And then I got warm, you know, it's almost like a little bit of rain was before. I turned around and I looked, and there's just a circle of sunshine right about 150 yards, 200 yards just around me. And I could see it, and I kind of winked and acknowledged it. But I've had other things like that kind of happen where, you know, things resonate and, you know, you get validation almost like very quickly.
Exactly. So
But
these are the
little things,
example.
like the little leg ups to give you the reassurance, I feel, that you're on the right sort of thing. And everyone have their own. You know, as I mentioned before, I think mine are titanium rainbows in my head when I do something, when my head thinks something right.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So
These are examples of what it might happen to you. Once again, each of us, you will see, we have had different experiences, and they are all valid, and they are
same
all
but different.
wonderful, I say. Yes, yes. And some of them, they might feel very, very similar. When we share them also, yeah, they can be similar and also totally different. That's why they told me, ask around to your brothers and sisters and share that with the world. If you feel like it, of course, it's volunteering. Melba, how was for you? How did you start feeling that connection to something else or to your higher self?
I think it came after long time of being in denial because of our culture. It was kind of forbidden to talk about things like that. So I remember that I mentioned to my mom because I have some dreams, you know. So I kind of started with dreams, and I was telling her like I dreamed this, and she was like, "Don't say it, don't say it, don't even mention it." But it was a time when I said I don't want it to feel anything. I don't want it to, you know, kind of, because it was that denial and that negativity that they built around it. And then later on, it was just kind of suddenly it started coming up again. It's like it's your time, just listen, just listen. And it's that voice that is inside of you that we call, some people may call intuition, or some people may call well, the higher self, obviously, but it's that awareness that you start to have and to be present and to be in the moment. I believe that I noticed it more when I realized that I was here, you know, because sometimes you are doing like a 3, 4, 5, 7 things at the same time. But no, let's just stop and get the perspective and just listening and observation of myself as well. So I believe that that was kind of the way that it happens to me.
Wonderful. Yeah, and one of the feeling is that is that one that you realize that you've been listening to that inner voice for a long time. You just didn't you just didn't consider that was your higher self talking to you. Yeah, because there is a very thin line once again in between all these different energies. Even when for example Sananda is talking to me and then Mother Mary come through, there is a very thin line between their energies, and it's after a while when I realized that it's not the same energy anymore. Sometimes the energy between them is very different, and straight away I can discern that I'm talking now to another entity or to another being. But sometimes they adapt so well, almost they fuse together, and then you believe that for a while you've been talking to the same being, and then suddenly you start feeling that the energy change and transform into something else. And then when you ask with your heart, who are you now? And then another let's say inner voice talk through you and tells you who that being is. But everything goes through your higher self. It's like the higher self, through the higher self is passing everything. The higher self knows what you need, when you need it, how much energy you can take, how much you should take, and everything else. And yeah, it's always with an incredible wisdom, knowing what is best for you and when is the adequate time for you to get something or to talk to someone or to another being. Eventually everything flows, and it feels so natural. But yeah, in the beginning it's like a self-discovery of everything that is changing and happening to you. Yeah, I resonate a lot with what Melba say, and yes, with what Stephen mentioned as well. It's like I have the feeling that I'm gonna have a little bit of each of you. And maybe you have the same feeling, that you have also a bit of what everybody shares in the group. And now is Alison next. If you feel like sharing something, Alison.
Okay, so I kind of always felt like I was connected to something, whether it was God or my guardian angels, due to my background, you know, growing up religious. But as far as the light language is concerned, I was activated. I can't even tell you what year it was now because I can't remember what year it was, but I remember I was in a hotel room and I was doing a meditation and I was listening to the guy speaking, and then all of a sudden, as he was speaking and talking through this meditation, I was in such a trance, but I can hear myself speaking light language, and I immediately like jumped up and was like, what was that? Like, what was that? So I kind of went back into meditation and I just continued speaking it. Speaking as far as knowing about my higher self, I think I've always known subconsciously that I was always connected to my higher self. It was just an inner knowing. If I actually knew that that's what it was, or if it was God, I couldn't tell you. It was the same thing to me. So yeah, I've always had a connection. But it's much stronger now. Yeah, so I guess that's, yeah.
It's beautiful, Alison.
Thank you.
I resonate a lot with the same.
Yeah.
We've been always connected. We just didn't know that was and at some point it just increased and get more empowered as we recognize that is actually that divine energy coming through us. By realizing that is, we also allow more to come through. And that's why this is very important that we share it with the world. Very important, because some people might feel at one level, other people at another level, and the whole thing is very confusing. For me, it was very confusing. Everything was very confusing. It was through confusion how I found really myself, really, in that sort of so many stimuli coming from everywhere and saying, but if this is the same that I've been feeling all my life, oh my God, how can be? And because it was the same, I was denying that it was the divine talking through me, because I couldn't believe for a long time that has been always there. And that's why it's so important what you say, Alison, that many of you will feel that has been always there, and that is nothing new, and it will become more, let's say, noticeable, because you are letting that become more within you and speak up more freely within you. Yeah. Now, Brother Wesley.
I wasn't sure what I was talking there because that's very interesting, actually, as you did the Merkaba, because I didn't notice it. But actually, when you were speaking, I left to get a cup of tea. I didn't get a chance. I didn't notice you were speaking when you came back. So when I sat down here, I actually could see a star, a golden star. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. And then you started talking, and then I went going, then the meditation started working, right, going, then started communicating. And then I'm like, all right, then start using words, because the way I get it, I'd see it, and then it start using words. So a lot of the information I would work with, it would start telling me this is what it is. This is what you're doing. This is what's happening. And then I'm like, oh, that's super cool. So then I might listen to something, and then it starts coming through whatever I'm listening to. So it might be a radio station. So it starts transmitting through the radio station. So it comes out in different forms, different waveforms and stuff. So I just had to say this now. So today, so basically, a friend asked me, he's a healer, so we're kind of doing certain things. He asked me would I give him a hand to do some work at a workshop, the country. Well, it's not a workshop, it's kind of conference. So he said, can you make up a, can you make up a, you know, a name or whatever. I said, look, I don't really kind of go with the names or go with things like a few years ago, right, I was saying quantum intelligence, quantum, and then I can keep going, quantum technology, quantum this, and I keep going. Look, and I said a few things. I was like, maybe just keep it simple as quantum healing, right? Fair enough. But then I was like going, right, Merkaba. I was like going, right, it's actually making I actually didn't put in any, but that's what I was going to do, is actually read the Merkaba through it. Because that's actually the activations of what's happening in the planet anyway. So today, I had a big talk about the Merkaba with the lads I was working with, because one of them hurt his back. One of them hurt his back, but he's telling me the tattoos. But a lot of them were like tribal tattoos. So they're talking to me, and these guys aren't. It's, well, you know, I don't. They're talking about spirituality, but not spirituality. So he did a couple of tribal Maori tattoos. So I said to him, he's a pure Celtic, like. I said, have you got any of the old Celtic tribalism? You know, are you carrying any of that? That's what I said to him. He's like, yeah, I have one or two. I was like, all right. You know, because, you know, it's like, it's kind of like a map, really. And he said, oh, look, over in England there, I got tattoos on my back. And he's like, then he started describing them. Well, I couldn't really want to, you know, but he says, not one star David on my back. And I was like, then I started talking about the interconnection of certain things. But he was like, well up. He started talking about past lives, and that totally resonates with that, saying what's happening there. I know what you're, we're working with, and that's the connection. That's, well, my connection with higher self is actually opening the Merkaba.
And Wesley, how did you start discerning that something was talking to you? How were you discerning that the higher self were sort of connecting to you?
I noticed as a kid, I noticed as a child that I was able to, I was just feeling everything. So I think I said this before, like when I was a child, I was 4 years old, maybe 4 years old, and actually feeling the water resonance of pipes. So back in the 80s, so I was born in 78. So back in the 80s, Ireland was pretty cold-ish. So they had so we kind of, they would have been steel pipes, or I'm trying to figure out the theory, but it's actually the resonance of the water. It's actually the spinning resonance of the water in through the field. That's what I used to feel in the class. But then it was actually over energetics of actually the trees, so it's communication with trees. And then if you really tune into it, because you're there anyway, we're even there when we speak anyway. This is all happening in the given moment. And I had like these little, you know, senses of which, no, I don't have, like seeing without seeing. Well, I can't say I don't have, because I suppose they would have got to be activated. But then become more consciously aware of it. I kind of shut down things, probably going through my teenage years. And then when I had I suppose going through Australia, and I noticed that everything was kind of connected and everything was becoming apparent. And with things speaking through me, speaking through me, and understanding. I suppose when they just started speaking the language-ish, but it's kind of before the language. And I think the language is actually a communication of information that's been transferred in that given moment. And we could be talking to everything. We could be talking to everything. Some people would say to me, like, I don't really understand what I'm talking about, but it's the energetics of it, which I think you explained there already. I think it's super apparent for me. It was in Toronto in about 2012 when I left the body and I started just working through music. And then I noticed, like, I'm gone out of the body, I'm there. And it's kind of similar to what you said, where I was stuck in a position. I was stuck in that position, but it's gone off the body. And it was just being connected to government buildings, to the bandwidth of music that's been transmitted through the octaves. And I'm like going, this is crazy what's been produced here. To deciphering codes that like mainstream society didn't recognize it. I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy because I've gone in through this music. Little stuff like that, because it can't even go, because if you just keep talking forever, because it was so interchangeable. But it was just basically geometry. It's mathematics, it's geometry. It's balancing the masculine and feminine, and it's recognizing it's all one. And then it's a fabrication of, like, there's many facets of that one. And I think that what we're on the plan, we're starting to recognize what's happening is what one to another will affect the other, and will actually end of the day it's going to affect yourself. And that's, even for me, it's working on that.
So everything started by feeling the frequencies from the pipes.
Feeling. I think I could go back to a baby then, because then it's seeing myself as a baby, as in like seeing the mother's car, seeing the father's car, seeing the car, then it branches out, and then seeing myself as a baby in a cot, positioned. That's all just I suppose the interwoven connection of spirit that's beyond the physical format.
What it tells us that if we really want to, we can also ask to get these feedbacks and flashbacks to get to see us when we got that connection. And like he say, even when I was a baby, I have flashbacks when I was inside the belly of my mother, and I could hear and sense already my parents arguing and fighting, and also shocked of why I was being there. Like it was divine, but at the same time, it was feeling like claustrophobic to be inside the belly. So I was creating the conscious disconnection, being a baby of consciousness disconnection, being a baby, just to don't feel the because even today I feel claustrophobia when I'm in small spaces, and when I have flashbacks of being in my mom's belly, I felt that also a lot. But it tells us a lot about that the connection has been there always. It's only us being more aware of it or not. But it's from the beginning.
It was interesting when Wesley was talking about almost like sound healing chambers and being a stonemason. When I went up to the Orkneys, I tried to get on the ferry because I really wanted to go to the Dwarfistan. And that's where they can't explain how it's hollowed out, but it's hollowed out to perfect dimensions to do a certain frequency. And I think those, I don't know if those like help you resonate and almost play alchemy with you as well, or play different fractions depending on how you are. I think the multi-dimensional uses. But it'd be interesting to get to know those more.
Yeah, like what I like, if even people say channeling, like what I think a lot of information what I get is off Plato. I reckon I get fabrics of, because I keep getting Plato, even though I don't study stuff. So like I kind of resonate with a lot of, like, because it's kind of the way it's kind of intertwined, because it's all kind of, it's balancing stuff, and it's like axing it as it's all it's all subatomic anyway, but it's like axing these spheres of self-realization, and then it's fabric bringing it back into the unification of the one, I suppose. But there's one thing I wanted to say earlier on, because this is going back to what I was talking about. For me, what I had to learn is actually being embodied, because I feel like sometimes you go way out and it's being embodied. So that's it. That's what I have to really work on, is being embodied.
Sometimes we even leave the body like you left it before, no? Like you were like this with this last light language code, that you left it there locked. And then you travel.
And the thing is that my whole body starts getting limp. That's why I actually started to that's why I was laughing, because I was starting to like nearly like my mouth was actually starting to kind of, it was, I didn't have even the energy to keep my mouth open. It was just like, it was just going. So for me, like, I'm more grounded now. Like, a part of me came back Christmas, but like I'm more grounded now than I've been for years. But so it's working on grounding. So if you talk with the higher self, It's bringing it in. It's bringing it, become conscious.
Exactly, embodiment,
Yeah.
and grounding
Yeah,
the whole thing,
yeah.
because otherwise you just
You're gone.
go.
You're gone.
Just go.
And thanks very much, Peter. Thanks very, very much. I think the sacred sites have a big part of that too. What you're talking about, because that's the whole, like, I think that's the whole interlacing connection of Mother Earth anyway, is that we're starting to respect and understand that this intelligence is working through us, and there's a symbiotic relationship with us and Mother Earth, because that's us.
Thank you, Wesley. Thank you, Stephen. Melissa, how was it for you?
Meeting my higher self.
Yeah, or the first connection to know that there was something else, or that you started reconnecting, or starting more consciously the journey, let's say.
Yeah, I would say probably, I think going back now, I probably have been spiritually connected, but when I think at the end of 2020, I got a visual of light language. I didn't know it was light language at the time. I spoke to a couple of friends about it, and they said that it was light languages, which made me curious and made me explore into that a bit more, because I was obviously, there was something in me just saying, well, you've been given that for a reason, that you need to follow this up. And then I found this group and yeah, I'm so grateful for this group. But I think we did about 2 or 3 activations, or on the second activation, I definitely had a Kundalini awakening, because that was very powerful. Like my whole body was just like vibrating, and my light languages integrated in June last year. And since then, yeah, it's just been evolving. I've started drawing it. I've had channeled messages. I feel like I'm a bit closed off from the channel messages right now, but I will come back. And yeah, just learning and stuff. And I think the higher self was the one that pushed me into doing that. And I have had more of a connection, but I'm still, I think it's all about trusting and surrendering and just believing that, because I can mind, even was it US Mill that had a conversation, or the guides were saying, if the energies get too much, then just call upon your higher self to get rid of it. And I did that, and within seconds it was gone. And I was just like, oh, that works. That actually works. And I suppose it's just having faith and believing. And when you get little moments like that, you're like, okay, I obviously do have a connection. And I also find that my higher self, I want to say, like, she's like a big sister kicking me sometimes, being like, this is what you want to say it. And I get like very creative with my writing. I get like this, it's obviously me that's doing it, but I feel like this powerful force behind me being like, you need to express yourself, you need to do this now. And don't always trust that, but I am starting to slowly trust that even more. So yeah,
it's so important that you mentioned that. So important.
Yeah,
because it does feel sometimes like it's like your best friend or your sister. In my case, I represented the higher self like it was my father and my mother telling me what I was supposed to receive during my times in childhood and teenager times, in order to understand my feelings and what to do. So when I listen to this voice, I feel that sometimes it's like feminine, and sometimes it's masculine, and that's why I interpret it like if they were my parents talking to me, with everything that I didn't receive when I supposed to receive it in the past. But you interpret that like almost like my best friend, or like my sister, no? Like so you can interpret it like a close being, depending how you start feeling those energies, no? In my case, it's so interesting that she feel it like her sister, and I feel it like my mother and my father together.
Yeah.
And because I didn't have those parents there to raise me, so that's the way I have interpreted. Now, what that really is, well, is the higher self, as we are talking, and it has many ways and many forms, and we can experience it in different ways. That's why we are all sharing our different ways of experiencing the reconnecting or the reconnection with the higher self. Because I knew that when you asked that question, Khadija, that was so massive, so wide. And then when I asked my guides, they told me, just share in the group, ask everyone, and then that's the best way that we can answer to that question. And if there were more people in the group, we will continue up until we finish the session, really, or the group, because that's the way we learn. That's the way we learn. That's the way we learn from each other. We reflect each other, and then we find out that few pieces and bits from Wesley are very much in alignment with what I experienced. Few pieces and bits from Stephen, the same. They are in alignment. Not maybe the totality of what he experienced, or they experience, or Melissa experience, and Melba as well, but maybe few of them, yeah, they do are the same. They are all very similar.
Similar frequencies.
Similar frequencies.
So they're like almost harmonizing, like trying to harmonize. And they've got their own way of then synchronizing.
Yeah.
It's like they've got to become aligned, but there's a phase that goes, that you can't just go bang, bang.
Yes. Yes.
There's a phase of getting aligned and learning, and that's where I feel that we're at, isn't it?
And because what Stephen say, that they are different frequencies, we cannot always, like we are saying, we cannot always follow a sort of protocol or guideline. Not only one guideline. It's very massive. It's very massive, because we are dealing with a lot of things at once sometimes, Wilma mentioned also, and Melba also, so many things happen at once sometimes, and it's like, wow, it's like what is what. Often you get to that point also, what is what, and then it's better to just relax, meditate, and let it go and flow, and then the answer will come to you, than to get stubborn and try to get an answer straight away, because most of the time when you get stubborn, it doesn't come, it doesn't flow. So it will come.
All we shared. Yeah. Like I feel like I need to trust, and it will come in divine timing, right?
Yeah. Melissa mentioned that. It's very important. Each of us, we are saying very important points, very important things. That's why the answer is a collective answer. It's because each of us, we are making an amazing response to your question, or answer to your question.
Can I just add to that? I just wanted to say that there's always signs everywhere. If you're open and receptive to the signs, they're everywhere. Like once you start noticing the signs, they're everywhere, whether it's angel numbers or anything like that. Everybody's wondering oh, what's my life path and what should I do and stuff like that. But there's always little signs everywhere. You've just kind of got to be open and receptive to find them as well.
Totally.
Yeah, that's true.
And the other thing there as well, I just stepped in there, is that actually the more you kind of let go, you go beyond the mind, and that's when the magic can start happening, because you start to intertwine with everything anyway. So instead of like, there's a mind that say I am this, or I do this, or this is that, or this, there's just all these base points, versus letting all that go. It's just like you would say, just let it all surrender, and then recognize that whatever's going is just flowing. And then you're just totally in it. So you are in the universe, and then you're just everything. So whatever's coming out to play, then you're going beyond control. Like. You're just in that divine flow. Playful. Thanks very much.
Oh, these beans are so funny, honestly. They really cheer us up always. It's yeah.
And also, I think like the more healing occurs, like the more like the light body would be activated, right? Like as I heal more, as I feel more free, and I forgive more, I let go more. Like I feel like connected, like as you said, with my heart. Like I feel, you know, life is more than what I like, what the world tries to like show, you know. Right?
Exactly.
I'm starting to connect to that. So maybe that's a sign, as Melissa said. Maybe that's a sign.
Of course, it's a sign, and it's not going to be the same way of appreciating or discerning your higher self if you have a broken heart, for example. If you've been in a relationship for a while or for a long time, and that was a relationship that was quite well bonded, and suddenly you break up, you might feel a lot of pain in your heart. Obviously, in those situations, it's going to be very difficult to discern something. And as you heal that wound, or for example, if someone passed away, like it happened to me with my mother, whilst I was going through those painful times, for me it was very difficult to channel. And I was still running the groups here, but my abilities to channel were very much diminished. And why? Because pain was like highlighted, let's say. Pain was in the way. So what you just said about the more I heal, the more I let the love flow and other energies to flow. Totally, it's totally like that as well. Yeah.
Thank you so much, all of you.
It's more coming.
Oh, yeah.
I was a bit of a late bloomer, actually. I probably haven't really taken a lot of notice of my higher self, maybe for maybe the last 5 years, because I was never aware that it was my higher self, because my communication from my higher self was in thought form. So, and it sounded like me. So I just thought they were my own thoughts. I had no idea. And it was like, you know, you get a thought and then you think to yourself, nah, I'm not going to do that, you idiot. You know? And then later on, it backfires and you think, damn it, I should have listened to myself. And it took a long time to realize that those thoughts that I thought were just my thoughts was actually the higher guidance coming in from my higher self. And because I didn't listen, because I just thought it was me thinking, you know, things didn't work out. So yeah, just over the last few years, I started to, you know, do some inner work and open up myself. And it's beyond the thoughts as well, because then I started to open up my heart, which was very closed. I mean, I had breast cancer back in 2007, and that was when I went through a heart opening process. But with that, you know, with the opening of my heart, and it just keeps to expand and expand and expand as time goes on, I was then able to tap into my feelings, because I hadn't never known I was clairsentient. So I discovered I was clairsentient. And then when I connect the thought and the feeling together, I know. And now it's just a knowingness. It's just, you know, I'll get a thought and I'll go, oh, that's not just a thought now. I know what it is. It's guidance. And I listen to it. I still have times I don't listen to it. I think, damn it, I thought that was a thought, but it wasn't. You know, but as Melissa said, and everyone's pretty much touched upon it, trust. Because, you know, having trust has been a really major issue with me. Didn't trust myself, didn't trust what I was hearing, didn't trust what I was feeling. So I'm, you know, just really getting through that process in the last, probably since my dad passed away, actually, that I'm starting to trust me more. And maybe that was a bit of laziness, because Dad was hugely connected. So I used to get everything from him. I didn't have to do it for myself.
I relate to that.
Now I do. So I think, you know, I've tapped into it. I'm starting to pay attention, and it's really cool. I really like it.
I relate a lot with that, because when Mom left, yeah, I started paying more attention to everything, and it's almost like they are assisting us from the other plane, more and more in that opening and in that reconnection with ourselves. And it sounds really weird to the mind, really, because it's when they left, no? And you say, maybe it's because I was a little bit lazy and I was letting my dad do the whole thing. But yeah, I resonate with that a lot, because yeah, when she left, is when I started also focusing more in myself and understanding more what was going on. And also appreciating the different emotions, different change of frequencies. And I could start, because of that changes, I learned how to discern what is what, when it's only a thought or when it's something else, more deep in with a message or something that some entity wants to communicate. And as you say, that connection mind with heart. So why it ended being only a thought? Because you activated your heart, and then you put it together, and when you put it together, you realize, wow, yeah, for a long time I thought that they were only thoughts. And actually it was actually my guides talking to me in different times. It's just to the mind alone, they look the same, or they feel this, or they are received like the same. But when you activate the heart is when you can discern that they are different things, or when it's actually something else talking to you, or your dad, or your mother, or your higher self, or someone else. Yeah.
And I find that, like, your logical thoughts will jump in and go, wait a minute, but that doesn't make sense. And yeah.
And you have a massive dialogue.
Barrier too.
You can be like this for hours, like not moving the body and having a huge dialogue.
I do actually have huge dialogues with myself. But as for the light language, I was just surfing the net at some point, and just following links to here, there. It was just a random thing. I was just going here, there, and everyone, oh, that sounds interesting. I'll follow that link. And I ended up on a page, a website run by, or owned or held, whatever, by Judy Satori. And she is a light language, she speaks light language. She's like a DNA activator and yeah, anyway, human upgrader, all that sort of stuff. And I didn't know that, of course, when I first came onto that page, but I was listening to some of the stuff and I'm like, this is really cool. Like, it really resonated with me. Like, it felt right. So I used to, you know, go to her page and listen and do some of the little exercises that she would do. And I did have a friend laugh at me saying, what sort of gobbledygook is that? And anyway, when I came to Sydney in 2016, there was a retreat held by Judy in Sydney, and I went to that. It's a 3-day retreat, and she had these like she was doing like this thoth activation, or tahote, however you like to pronounce it. I just say thoth. I can't help it. That's what I say. But some people say that's not how you pronounce it, but that's how Wilma pronounced it. So that's the way it is. And so anyway, these were activation tracks by Thoth, and so she was just channeling Thoth, and it was just going on and on. And she just said, just allow whatever comes through, you know, to come through. And you could feel the activation in your chest, you could feel the vibration in your throat, but you're like, I'm not going to say anything. I feel like an idiot. And, you know, like I'm going to do it wrong, because that's, of course, the mind jumping in going, you're going to do it wrong. And anyway, eventually the vibration in the throat gets so much, it's just gotta express something. And what was said was like, even if you just want to like whisper it, even if it sounds like weird ass sounds, just allow them, you know. And so I just sort of would start with little, it would just be like that kind of thing. And then when I was on my own at home, I would just sort of, you know, revisit that. And because I had the track recorded, and then it got louder and louder and louder. And it just kind of blew from there. As I became more confident, and as I opened up myself more, and you know, stood into my power, and you know, just recognized the being that I really was, not just this little human person.
Thank you, Wilma. Thank you so much. That was so beautiful and lovely. And I resonate also with most of the things you say. Totally. I mean, amazing. And yeah, Khadija call dropped again. Obviously, these are the energies happening, but she can also watch this in the video, so it's not a problem. How was it for you, Luis? Do you want to share a little bit how it was for you, so that Khadija can also hear the version of your experience of connecting to your higher self? Or yeah, yeah, then.
I just wanted to say, like, to complement that, like to add actually to that, if you're seeking it, like if you seek the energy, it will respond. Like if you're seeking this, like for me, actually, I first started studying like esoteric science, and to learn about this stuff and how the levels of consciousness work, and you know, what are the bodies that we have, and how the mind is structured, and all this stuff. But I resonated with also with the sign things, like along my journey, who was there, like putting all the signs, and it was actually, you know, just the future me or my higher self, and noticing that the patterns, you know. And also I had like some moments where, you know, you tap into what they call the quantum field, and the structures, the material structure seems like foolish, and you can perceive like multiple realities at the same times, and the grids and everything, and that gives you access to like parallel stuff, but also like the higher self, which is like the focal point of your expression, right? And the third eye activations, like most of this, the work that we have to do is actually to pay attention and to respond somehow. Because if you're talking about higher self, it's not, it is a friend, it can be like seen as a father, as a mother, but it is actually it has bigger plans, right? It has bigger plans, so it wants to, it goes beyond your individual experience. It is you, but when you connect with your higher self, suddenly like you start to perceive that you are actually part, your higher self can be divided into other people, and maybe that's what it's called, fractals. But yeah, you start to receiving the energies, like in the third eye, the crown, and then your perception of, maybe that's what it's called, like waking up from the matrix, but there's a lot of levels to that. But yeah, essentially it's just like paying attention and responding somehow. And yeah,
the reason why it feels sometimes like fractals is because through the higher self is all the other fractals talking. So
yeah,
you feel like it's a fractal of Metatron, or you are talking to a fractal of an Arcturian being, or you are talking to, but the higher self itself is not fractalized. It's not fractalized. It's the filter to everything that comes to you. So what Melissa might have considered from an interpretation of her mind, that is her sister. Maybe there is a combination of a sister from a previous lifetime that is interfering in that messages that she is receiving, but it's not the higher self itself fractalized, because the higher self itself is actually very, 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 let's say, well centered and defined. It's actually the vessel what hasn't been centered or balanced. So when we center the vessel is when we get in alignment with the higher self, and the higher self have the structure that we need to be in balance and to be in alignment with everything else. And so anything that comes through, because there are so many things that comes through and so many energies sometimes at once, we have the feeling that the higher self is the one that is fractalized, but it's actually many other beings that comes through, that sometimes the higher self allows more than once, more than one at once. So it's to the mind to interpret it. We can interpret it in million different ways. That, for example, for Melissa is her sister. For me, they were my parents, but just because of the life I have had here in Earth. Maybe if I have had a different type of experience here on Earth, I would have considered that maybe that energy comes from something else also, for something that my mind it relates more to that. In my case, I know that is because I didn't have that support from my parents, and so that's why I feel like my higher self is doing that role that they didn't have in my past. And I'm receiving these things and that education as an adult, really, since the moment I started allowing all that energy to flow more and more. Sometimes I feel like I'm back to be a child and receiving what a dad or a mother supposed to say to that child, and it's interesting, and at the same time it's very, very much complimenting myself and receiving what I needed also to heal, no? Because a child supposed to receive those things in order to find balance and ways to feel in this life centered and not lose the mind really with the different massive experiences that we are having, especially in nowadays. Yeah, so a lot of this parenting that my higher self is doing is helping me to stay sane, to stay in alignment, really. And for Melissa, maybe it was that sister that she always wanted to have, or that sister that she always, or that maybe in a previous lifetime she had that sister with her, and in this lifetime is not there giving that support. So the soul itself interpret the whole thing and the mind together as is a sister. But yeah, this is very important that we are talking about it. Very refreshing. It brings a lot of other stuff that is getting activated. Yeah, Melissa, go ahead.
Sorry, when Luis was speaking, then it just triggered something in me. Is we all have a choice as well as humans. Like we get the signs, we can ignore them. Like me with that vivid dream that I had, I could have been like, oh, that was weird, and never pursued it. But there was something in me that was like, I need to know what this is, and it's the fire in you that wants you to like find out more about yourself. And that, I definitely think that's the higher self speaking to you. So like we all have a choice to either ignore it or trust it, and that's just being human, really. Like we all have a choice. We have a choice which road we want to go down, and everything else. So like, I mean, if I didn't if I didn't follow that path, then I would have never met all of you. My gifts might have not been activated, and I could have just still been waddling about like a little human, and never knowing what potential that I actually did have inside of me all of this time. So yeah, it's crazy. But like life is all about choice as well. We have a choice to go this way or not, really. Yeah.
Yeah, and is there anything else? Thank you, Melissa.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else, Luis, that you would like to share about the because yeah, we kinda interrupted you. Sorry for that also. And I just felt like my guides were talking like yeah, about that fractalized part of it.
Yeah, thanks for that. It's something that is worth like studying and like searching for information, like the difference between soul and spirit, for example. Many people have that question still, but also just to finish, like different types of channeling and doing art and divination sometimes can be actually an interesting tool for you to like allow the flow from like your higher self. And what Melissa said about dreams as well, like paying attention to the dreams and putting the pieces together.
Yeah.
That's it.
Like Luis said, there was a stage in his life when he was collecting a lot of information and searching, and as he said now, it's worth to find and look for information. But the actual discernment came later on when you started expressing yourself, like you say, no, like using arts, talking to people openly, He started also coming to the groups, and also we are not aware, but constantly we are learning, or let's say more accurately, remembering. We are remembering. So as we share with each other, we start remembering. Maybe we are not paying attention of how much we are recalling just by having an experience like tonight. But it's so huge, honestly. It's so huge what happens only in one session, like in one of these sessions that we have together. And that's why they are so powerful, because there is a lot, and that's why it feels so good to the heart and as a whole experience, because they are the soul, it becomes so alive, because it starts remembering so many little details that the mind is still not remembering or blocking. And what it happens is that the soul feel more expanded because of that memory that get back. And then, yeah, with Luis, I know that he had that sort of stages of first collecting a lot of information, and then when he came to the groups, when when he started putting extra understanding to all the stuff that he collected before. And then we were sort of bringing all the explanations from the heart, let's say. It's like he did an amazing job collecting a lot of information in a stage of his life. Then he started coming to the English and the Spanish groups, and then he put all his intention in wanting to understand everything that he collected before. And then between all of you and all the brothers and sisters in the Spanish and Portuguese group, we help him. We help him to understand that in the same way that he helped us to also identify in his process many things to people who were present in the group, like we always do. If someone from the group says that is not learning or recovering memory from the past, I will say that isn't true. That isn't true. And that includes obviously myself. I'm learning every day with you guys. I'm remembering more and more every day with you guys. And that's why it feels so great. And this is what moved me to continue and moved me to every week keep this group alive and active, even if I'm feeling really low energy, or even if I'm feeling like it's not the right day. Like sometimes you don't feel like it's the best day to do it, even though I come, and then when I come, the soul feels so much joy sharing with these things and remembering these things that we are, that it gets once again back to the point where it's supposed to be. And we help each other always. We are here healing each other at the same time, in every transmission that we do, just by listening the experiences that we have had all around. It's a healing thing, and not only a healing thing, but confirmation after confirmation. So it's giving us also a sense of more trust, more faith, and yeah, more alignment because of all of that. So thank you, Luis. Thank you for sharing all of that, and all of you as well, because this is, I think, the best answer. If I would have given the answer just by myself, it would have been as nice as it has been. So thank you so much for sharing a little bit of you, which is a huge part of you, with everyone, and with everyone in the world, and also answering that question that Khadija asked in the beginning, which it was also guided. So these type of things that you might think, no, it's just a a question that came to my mind. Often those questions are something that are guided by the higher self to ask. That is another thing. Yeah, it's like when people come to my sessions, they come with a number of questions. Those questions usually are guided by the higher self to be asked. It's not only the mind wondering something.
That's amazing.
I will say 99.9% of the time when you are seeking for more soul and mind awareness, it's because your higher self is intervening on that process. So yeah, definitely. You are listening already to your higher self. You are just remembering how to discern it. And that's it happened to all of us. We are all of that at some point in that journey. And it never ends. It never ends. It will continue forever. But yeah, you miss some part of it because your call was dropping. And you will
my connection is not good. Sorry.
Yeah, it goes. No, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. The energies intervene, and some other beings sometimes intervenes, and but it's nothing bad or wrong or mistaking, or it's not a problem. It's just high frequencies having. Are you having Wi-Fi connection now? Are you using
No,
Wi-Fi?
that's Wi-Fi. That's Wi-Fi. That's why it's just goes.
So, okay. So, yeah, let's start with the intentions. Thank you so much for all this part, which has been so lovely, really. And I know that it's going to help
Thank you all of you for your answers. Thank you.
Thank you for asking and helping so many other people that will be listening to all these experiences. It's very good. It's really good. And yeah, let's start with the intentions, if you like. Would you like to start with an intention, Melba?
I will put the same intention as at the beginning. Is the connection with the collective and with the galactic now. So there's that one.
Very good, very good. Wonderful. So yes, let's do this light language transmission to connect more to our higher self, and through our higher self connect to galactic beings or any beings that might want to come and talk to you. If you put your intention with love, your higher self will always protect you. But you need to trust, like Melissa say, it's a question of trust and belief, and yeah, if you put that, you don't need to be asking for so much protection to archangels or other beings when you want to channel something or someone. So yeah, let's start whenever you like. So if you're watching this video for the first time and you don't speak the light languages, you can pray with this intention so that humanity connects much better, including yourselves, with your higher self and other light beings that might be there, just wanting or waiting to bring some knowledge or helping you to remember some knowledge that you already know. Whenever you like, please go ahead. Atawati kuhikakwate. Onasawata inama. Si anamakua. Sini anaku mishi ana wakaini. Anawa nakawatiene. Awane.
Nakoya na mahusha na karatita na wala.
Ina wanakae.
Kunayana.
Inakuwa haina mawa taine. Tukuni kia wakaini kiwata.
Imashina kuayana kutuyana halahitina kuyana na nayeye. Kunu mayaya yala tukanamaya. Inayalako no katasanaye.
Tumasi umaka isianara kwa. Seni aranaka humas iniki orek. Ihanara kahuata keihiana. Osa waka wa naina waka yenita.
Tukana ye arena ta.
Inina waka inia.
Inuma ya kutasa.
Sawana. Shuwaka nahu sawata
Enoma hashana katutuya na sasana mai iulana katutai.
Suwana hini. Tumayo mahanasha
Oye,
kaisha.
que ana ta shokorin te tatayo kotoye que ana
Ina
to
Nomoka.
humaisi niki mata isa na
rono
waini.
totoye que ana ta shoko
Sui
ani que
akawi
totoye que a toye taye toye
Namahasa tatuya na kalaya na.
Niki mata ina kawai.
que a
No kusha na kalaya na makia rua na ya
Makaina
sasa.
hawanti
Oye,
eni
no toye y ana tayo
No muya na kalaya tu sasana maya.
y amore ne tayo kore que
Matai akana iwe atua pape aku.
Ayokoi kayo no toshiki anata shukuru no
No
toshu
hasata na mia no arana
yanata
tukata.
shukuru
Kasana iya no maya na kura yana ye. Na ina iwana tatu sasa. Makaya ruana kanaya na le ye na kuwa ya sa. No hosha na ya na kalaya na makutata. Karana maya tukana sasana ye.
Tata, nanani ama muaka kai atuba. Awasai akumba.
Masa maya no atata kutasana maya tatukana.
Ku te kani uasa
Ni muha sayana kata tutura na yeye ni kama yana kula sasana makita numaya. Muya na katuata.
Sakati yakuata. Ki wasa konya
Numa no karaya ni atu. Tusuma yana kalaya na kulara tata sama iya wana iya tu sasana yeye na kuama na katu.
Korino tototoi kita kotoi shiki manato kore nikia
No
moko
muya yana katikatura na kasa makula ya kuaya.
Wakate yakatuati apua sanai yakua kuasa ia wasa yakatua kuwa yatani yakuya tatutu
E muya na kala no atasana mahotara. Na iya wala na ku. Isuma yana kula yana tatata yana yeye. Kulo yana mahotara na katasakatina wa. Inuma hasatati tatuna katana yana marua tatasana maya wana katu.
Wasatai wayata tata wakani wasua sukati yakati kota kaua saya kana kuayata imbae katua imbayata
Nakatuya hasuo manayina. Kuruna yana katatuta na mahashuna kata. Makuaya Ena karai tatuna.
Kumayanate Shukoyanata Shakayanataya Koyanotoya Ayanotoya Komorenetia Koshotoyanitia
Mukashana karanuama inumara tatatua
Yanatasha
mianuaka.
Korin Pianato Shukoyanataya Kuyamayanata Shukoyanataya Natoya Pianataya Natoya Nataya Yamorenetia Shukoyanataya Natosha Kumarenetia Nataya Koshorena
Ustana
Yanatoya
kunamaya na kuruna tati
Matayo
kanu.
Korini Piano Tosho Korini Piano Tosho Kumaya Natasha
Enoata.
Anitia
Enoata hasana kuna mayaria no
Yanatoya
atata tia no atata.
Korini Piano Tayo Koshorea Yamora
Makasana kuta
Yakushu
tayana. Kulara yana tata sana makia
Koya
yuna karana miyano.
Moenata Yamu Koro Tosho Koyenana Yamatoyo Kore Natosha Kaya Natayo
Ana
Koya
soto e kebe e vuelve acá.
Ustana ma kana kana luyana atuata.
Riki amore
Ana hai ti si te kene
Emovura dana kina asana
vena
pususara
ke si to
tasuka
vena kata.
kanianua.
Ora ora ina kato isha te ina heke. Ayana ako na hai te si te rekene ivere ina hoto si te kare ni.
Usuna makiana
Washe
anahula yana ara ayana ku usana
wa
kata.
kare sana kata. Ni hete.
Ewa tadu
Ora kone hete.
tu sana makula yana ara tatuna kahmahasu turuna makatana niano lara tatu kata. Opa tanaka makuniana. Musurana yana kula tatuna tanaka namae.
Ya no tushe kuyene tipo shumaya na
Nuna
kuyene tai kumaya na tushe kuyene ya morena tasha kuyene tushe kuyene tasha
makuna turuna ya suna makala yana tuta.
ya morena tasha
Inukana yana kula tata sana kuwaya.
ya
Makashana kina kula i. Nukuruna tanaka namaya. Momo yana karatana.
ya na tasha kuyene morena
Tumaina umakaina tushia kawanatya. Homataishe wakai. Shakawa makata.
Nahashuna karana tatana rakutura nakata. Nakaranu ashanama yaruna tatarana na yanakasana kata uarana kasana tasahushana pa sana yaruna tanaka mahashana kura yanu mumuyana dukara nakata yasutana makana yalurana atana tutu yara marana kata tanaya nuarana moshuna kata mahula tarana kata ni maku una kana nukarana
Mae akua sa sua kai ia kai kua kawa
ena
mae
makusta
kawa sa
ekusana
ia ia wata
takina
sa
kuraya sana
ia
ola
ka ia kuata ia tua te ia ka
etu maya
sa
nakara
kuata
tuno ya nalara kana maya tu tata sana sana mash analani emu atata ya nakata om shona atana karanata tianuata anaye numash anama No hasana matuta rana iya wata sa ina wala susana iya nuaya anachi ura ishura hasuta rana kanama iya wala kana ara usaka mai nakarana tukana shumai anuarata kusa upasudana tana tunayana turana tana kata shana Mo karanata yana tulama satana katana yana nuata nurana ya sanama ya nuana katana ya tuata sura tuata na maya nurana tanamaki na tan enuala yana tutana watana hatua yana ranata mahatana nana no karana ya tutana kana ya tutana kana kuaya Uasanama yarana kuata Usanama yana tutana tuna yana kalana Ahna tunikana makana itu kana Uarana kina kutana tanai makulaya Nunua anakaraya nuata Muha satana ina mulana puratana kanai sana hasana nakuata ya makulana tasana Dunu kalayana sana makulaya Nukara hatata Tusama ya nuarana Inukara matutatana ina kurasana Kura atia nuka Kulayana sunakana kulayana tutatna kura Tuka kana sanai no atuma ya Nikuna maya nularata tusana inuata wahata naka ura shana dua yanaka ta yaluna mai uta yanaka tutoya mukutara nakanai Marakato nakatayana ku mahata turana tana panaka nakina mo tasanaka hasana kusasana kirana wala tuta Muhurana katana kisana tuturana yana tita sana kuta mahasatuna yana kalamakala tutrunuma katutasina Umakaranati yanuata kuata sana Itana muata ina hasa tuna ana atuayana sana maku na mura atantuna kana atashona korana atuma haruana tiena kuna atarana makosa tana kina kuama atana kuashana kutu yana hata Muyana hatata tistana kana takulana tina mawalana ituna tuwayana kupampana etana kuyana asana ku surana asana kuna usunuya mahaku huta muyara watana hisana
Satu ata iya.
atama walana yatutana sana makulana ta ufufuna yana sana mama
Iya kuni kana dia wa uya wa.
guna katina mala eno ashana wana kulana nama wana ota takana kuma ena kiyanu atana orana kumu mayasana tutata
Asata kuya ka kuni yatu wa ya kuwa. Kune
ena
iya umaya hata wata.
etama kuraya atamaku mayana katita tu mayana ra tatu wana tia tutasana makulaya umuye ini kurumu tatatana kana sipuna ya titana hasuna ina hatatu yana ra sina kuna maa tikush anamur atia tuatana kalai a muitaka
Matati ya kuwata kusatawati kiuki kutu watati
Nana kushina kana tutayana kirana etuaya hasana amakuma anakita turata nakina awalna tushina takana yema kudara ya tatina kutatishini kana mamuwe yana kana kuni Tana unari atunaka ushina karatu tanaka uatai sinakona mahasana kalatina kumalia sana kwatina kaina masinaka
suata sana ni ye kuyata kuwasatua ya
ena hutai anakulara tuta nama uatata tarianu ashana kata mabumoyana ena harata tesatuna hana ena rasana katu yanaka hus nasht ana
sasa siweta
Bekasana kusasana mawalana tasasana kuruna tata sana suma sasana kida tutata ena awatita tasahusa sasana kushina karota na karata tisana karotaya rota sakratina ka ranatu ratikuruta yana satukana Taruata Atushranata Tikana Guaranata Rukatata Rata Sakanum Ratakus Nakanamayana kularaya. Yes.
Pahuya shataha yoya hashiana.
Ota Wesley ada kutana ia tu hasta.
So wana hiana wata niki hana yo naka
Hasta
yasana
na
kuta tai.
mokula ya
No
tuta.
siwanara.
Wow. That was powerful, huh?
Super.
Keep going. Oh, yeah, da, kiyoya wa.
There was different colors of frequency and vibration bouncing
wow.
around about 6 or 7 colors I don't know at one stage. You could just make them out just at one stage, really perfect color. Not perfect, it's not nice and fizzy. With a lot of white and yellow.
Yeah, no tuta na hata kula ya sa.
Tata tutu widi di ye kwe ya tu kan ki kani ko tu kata ta kuni ka ye tu kata ku saka sa witi ya tu mai ya ko ta mai wa ya tu waka kini wa papa wa sata wa ya ta ta kina mai ko sa ya tu
Ayewana. Ayewa. Pahatahaya tatasya.
That was perfect timing as well, Stephen. The thing. Oh, perfect. So perfect. Everything so perfect. And powerful. And everything. He goes, wow. And some of the beings who were talking through you, Melva, they were saying, we've been waiting for this transmission for so long, and they were cheering and so happy. Like you said before, that you have been wanting to manifest your appearance for a while, and because of certain things you haven't managed to come. And yeah, it's yeah, they were so happy to finally come and bring the light languages and yeah, bring the light. Manifestia. and Spider Woman, yeah. Manifesting, wow.
Yeah, there you
Manifestia and the Spider Woman manifesting. Wow, what a coincidence.
I just received that it was a big activation for Luis Fernando. He at the beginning he opens our hearts, but he was preparing kind of his space as well. And all of this was a lot of activation for him as well.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you saw yourself, Ismael, in the council. We were
Yes,
we
yes,
were there,
yes.
and the big entrance that our friend Wesley made, it was very powerful.
Yes.
So I don't know, Wesley, if you feel it the same way, but
Yeah,
it was
there was like, yeah, 100%. There was like a crazy amount of stuff being transferred, crazy, like vast. Which, it's like what you were dialing through, what you were expressing, is exactly what was running through. Like serious clearing. I thought it was a serious clearing. And it's just so amazing what the universe does with it. That's what's fascinating. How it's been transferred, because it's so infinite. And it keeps going on. And there's a transference within that infinity as well. And you know, like as it is so collective, like, so it's like one of the things as well, which I was getting even before, it's like, it's so amazing that we're able to, and I'm repeating what actually Ismael said earlier on, actually merging. So we're merging together all this information, and we're all working together, because that's the beauty of it. That's so important as well, is that we're all working together, because the more we work through whatever needs to be worked through, and just send it on, like just going back to the light, just going back to where it already started anyway, bringing it back to the light. And yeah, spot on, Melba, spot on. Because as you know, we're all a part of it. You're just yeah, we're it's like, right, put this here, right, grand, that goes there, right, grand. We're just to do it, the gateways are over, just run it through, just keep running it through. And it's funny because when you were saying it, like, that's pretty powerful, and like it's still going. The gates are still there. It's just still running. That's funny. You're like, whoa, it's still going, because it's still going.
Yeah,
and you
exactly.
know that's yeah. And
it's
that's
still going.
Yeah, it's still going.
Because I feel the same in my heart. It's still going. I'm not talking. I'm not expressing the light languages, but I feel that it's still going in my heart. That whatever we are doing, we are still doing it.
Soul is still fuzzy and buzzing. It got into like a centrifugal state of electromagnetic energy, but we kind of threw out, and it's all kind of like meeting in the middle. I mean, it's exactly harmonies of colours, and in a fizzy way, but it's just coming.
That's why there's so many. That's why it's so bouncing as well. That's why we ended up, even sometimes we're overriding each other. Like, so sometimes we're trying to speak. That's so connective. That's why it's so connective. So sometimes it might sound like sometimes I should apologize. I hope I didn't overriding someone else. You know, like say, but that's so interconnected. Like, that's so how interconnected it is. That's so we're interconnected to intelligence, isn't it?
It's like a band playing a strange thing together that we didn't know, but we felt.
It's amazing how it blends. So when each of us start kind of to blend into it, so it's like someone open kind of the portal, and then everything start to flow. And I think it was marvelous. It was amazing. And I've been kind of waiting for this for quite a few weeks actually. And it was like it was kind of, I was guiding like you need to do it, you need to do it, you need to do it. And it's like, okay, let's see when is that moment, because as you know, I'm trying sometimes to do it from work, and it's no, you see.
Yeah, I know.
But it was today, and I was like, okay. And since this week, since the portal, since like it started like 5 days ago, I believe, it was that pushing that I have to, and I sent a message to you last week, remember? So we need to get together. We need to anchor this one, and I think all of us, all of you, receive the message. And if you cannot, how to say, open it up right now, it will open. It will open through the night, through the following days, and you know, Wesley and Ismael, what we need to do now, because it was meant to be for us to be together today as well.
Well, I did notice I did notice because the galactic intelligence was starting to run through before, and I was like, all right, this is a bit different. because it just seemed it was definitely it was a different weave. That's what I felt. It was a different weave. I'm not saying there's galactic intelligences anyway, because there is, but this was a different branch.
Yeah. But it's kind of the energy that is there and in the council as well, you know, and some of us, I'm not gonna say that all of us, but some of us are in different councils. But for some reason, the energy for Wesley and the energy for Ismael and the energy for the higher Melba, whatever it is there in one particular. And every time when we get together, it blends everything and it wraps everyone onto it. And it's like you can see in the sea when the big amount of water came that take everything. So it's like that. That's how I feel it today. And
Yeah,
we have to take you all into that one, and you will feel it. Not necessarily, as I mentioned now, but it's going to evolve and show up. And then you are going to say, this is what happened. This is the activation that we have to do. So thank you all.
Thanks very much. And actually, just to support the grandmothers too, because that's what I felt like a super supportive, like the grandmother, what I was getting, grandmother council. So it's like the supportive energies there as well, because I think it's just so many different levels, so many different layers, and so much support, and there's so much gratitude. So there's so much gratitude as well, because what I get even from what's been done is just the gratitude and support just going straight back. So
Ona yana kulatina kumash mumura yana tutatana kina mahuda kina lukush nakara hesam kudana tatuma ayana hala isama kushana kana kulata tatana kuana
such heart intelligence. Can you do kita wayata kunata kia wasa watayata kine wayatu wata kana yuwata ta kana wayata grown intelligence kunu way akane wasai atumba yakunda
please drink a lot of water. Just drink a lot of water, everyone, to flush it. Everything.
They show me at the end of this transmission from Wesley again the symbol of what we call in Earth Merkaba. They show me against the masculine merging with the feminine, and we should remember that instead of going towards one extreme or towards the other, towards the masculine energy or towards the feminine energy. It's not about choosing one or the other. It's about accepting both and letting them merge within you. Hanawa, Natiyana. And they were almost like putting that ceiling in everybody's heart, so that you can discern and remember that the key is there when you put it together. When you put it together is when you develop the activation to discern what is coming through you more easily. Kawanata wona ini akawata. Wow. Stephen, what you wanted to say?
I'm so sorry, I get excited sometimes.
It's okay.
I noticed a sequence as you're speaking such beautiful language. You're like in an inverted pyramid in a V. Like it was nice.
Yes.
That was there too. That was actually that what you're spot on there. That was working through the system too. That was actually another branch of what was going on. That's what I was getting into it.
A big hug to Melba that she needs to leave. Thank you so much, Melba, for all the love and contribution to this.
Thank you.
Thanks, Melba.
Thank you, all of you. Okay.
Tunua sa
Tena.
tunaka kinua.
Ama kona haitana
Ama
ku hashana ku.
Tunasuyata.
Tunia kaya na kuinia.
Ena kula hata tina kuta. Tukoshana ma muyana.
Mamaya
Tata.
wasa
Wana Iwana.
kuwasa.
Tusiana Wana.
That one.
Suhata.
Combining all the up and down triangles. Beautiful. The party of the triangles.